Most believers think their money problems are about math. Satan desperately hopes you never discover the truth. It is not primarily about arithmetic. It is about authority. Your budget can be balanced on paper while your heart runs a deficit under the rule of feelings. Hear me. Feelings are real, but they are not fit to govern. They fluctuate. They surge and recede like tides. And fluctuating governors create fluctuating outcomes. If your feelings govern your choices, they will quietly tax your provision. It is an invisible leak. It does not shout. It drips. It erodes margins one reaction at a time. It spends what faith built with a whisper. Act now. Hold back. Prove yourself. Hide. Most do not notice the drain until peace is thin, clarity is fogged, and money is skittish. By then they blame the ledger, never seeing the throne they gave to their moods. The enemy is not required to steal your paycheck if he can steer your decisions. He is content to stand at the junction of your emotions and nudge. Panic purchases. Fear freezes. Pride spending. Impulse honors urgency more than wisdom. Delay masquerades as prudence while opportunity passes. This is not robbery at the front door. It is seepage through the seams. It is the devourer invited by disorder, pacified not with cash, but with control over your reactions. What is living by feelings? It is letting internal weather dictate external obedience. It is waking to clouds inside and calling it a storm outside. It is reacting instead of ruling. It is confessing the news more than the word, reporting the pressure as if it were prophecy. It is bowing to moods and then asking God to bless the bow. When the believer lets the thermometer of the soul set the climate of the order is not restrictive, it is protective. The government of peace does not cage you, it keeps the wolves out. God is saying, come into alignment with me. Let my word, not your weather, set the course. And the believer answers, you are the Lord over my heart and my money. I submit my reactions to your rule. This is not denial of feelings, it is dethronement of feelings. They can speak, they cannot rule. So hear the early warning and the early mercy. If your feelings sit on the throne, your provision will always feel harassed. But if lordship returns, if order resumes the seat, the leak stops. Peace stabilizes the hand. Clarity steadies the step. Provision stops running and begins residing. We will walk this path, exposing the tax, restoring the government, training the mouth, until your emotions become witnesses, not warden, and your life lives under the strong quiet of His rule. There are two compasses held up to your decisions every day. One is sense knowledge, what you see, what you feel, what your history repeats to you. The other is revelation knowledge, what God has said, what covenant has sealed, what lordship has already decided. Sense knowledge whispers, what I see and feel is final. Revelation answers, what God has said is final. That is not poetry. That is government. Whoever sets direction becomes Lord. Here is the common pattern that bleeds people dry. The believer sings scripture on Sunday and negotiates bills by fear on Monday. Two governments attempting to rule one life. It sounds like, He shall supply all my need, and then, we can't give, we might not make it. It testifies, the Lord is my shepherd, and then consults panic like a financial advisor. Do you see the breach? The mouth blesses with revelation, then budgets with anxiety. One compass in worship, another compass at the kitchen table. The result is drift, not destiny. Faith is not denial of facts. It is the submission of facts to a higher word. The bill is due. The account is lean. Those are facts. They can report, but they cannot rule. Revelation stands up and says, "We walk by faith, not by sight." 2 Corinthians 5:7. Not blindness, alignment. Sight may inform, but it may not govern. Revelation names God as source and sets order around the facts. Facts are servants. The word is master. Feelings, then, are excellent servants. Data, temperature, indicators that tell you how your soul is weathering the moment. But they are terrible masters. Direction, policy. They do not see beyond the hill. Revelation stands on a higher hill. It speaks from covenant, not from crisis. It speaks from lordship, not from lack. When the believer treats feelings as data and the word as direction, peace takes the wheel and provision stops being skittish. Here is how you know which compass is steering you. Listen to your mouth when pressure speaks. Confession is faith's legal speech. It is jurisdictional. Romans 10:10 says, "With the heart man believes, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation." Salvation is not only the new birth, it is deliverance, preservation, wholeness. Confession applies the verdict. E.W. Kenyon wrote, "Our confession is the expression of our faith." Under pressure, your confession locates your government. We never have enough. Something always goes wrong. Enthrones fear and calls it wise. The Lord is my shepherd. I do not lack. Psalm 23:1. He teaches me to profit and leads me in the way I should go. Isaiah 48:17. Let the peace of God rule. Colossians 3:15. That enthrones Christ and calls it order. When revelation replaces emotion as your compass, money steadies because decisions steady. Peace rules the pace. Clarity corrects the course. Haste loses its voice. You stop buying to medicate pressure and start sowing, saving, and spending under instruction. Heaven's windows, sight, discernment, timing, begin to open because you are no longer led by weather, but by word. God is saying, "Let my word be final in your finances." And the believer replies, "I yield my compass to your covenant. My mouth agrees with your government." This is where stability is born, the heart aligned, the mouth established, the steps directed. Let me open the drawer most never audit. It is the hidden cost ledger of emotional living. It does not mail you a statement. It sends sensations. But the charges are real. Emotional living charges interest, first in peace, then in clarity, then in money. Listen to the line items that never show on your banking app. Impulse spending, buying to silence the tremor instead of obeying instruction. Shame spending, purchasing an image to cover a wound. Comfort spending, treating pain with plastic instead of presence. Comparison spending, matching a life God didn't assign you with money He didn't instruct you to move. Avoidance fees, the premium you pay for procrastination, the convenience upcharge for last-minute obedience. Late penalties, the tax levied by hesitation. Missed opportunities, the investments you do not make because fear told you to wait until it feels safe. Relational conflict, the compound cost of money made Lord, trust made thin, conversations made sharp. But hear the deeper math. The first draft does not hit your wallet. It hits your peace. Peace leaves, confusion rises, and then prices seem higher because discernment is lower. When peace resigns, haste applies. Haste is an expensive manager. Fear makes you rush. Rushing makes you overpay. Overpaying creates pressure. Pressure increases fear. Round and round until cycles become chains. Or, fear makes you freeze. Freezing makes you miss timing. Missed timing costs favor. Lost favor creates pressure. Pressure deepens fear. Why? Because the devourer is attracted to disorder. He comes where gates are unguarded and counsels are ruled by moods. This is not spooky spectacle. It is spiritual law. Unguarded gates invite leakage. Where order is thin, margins drip. Where emotions sit on the throne, the devourer attends the meeting. He does not need your paycheck if he can tax your patience. He does not need your savings if he can blind your sight. When discernment blurs, bad deals look wise, and good counsel sounds slow. Windows close because the heart fogs. That is costly. Trace the genealogy of the leak, and you will often find an orphan root. I must rescue myself. Orphan living rushes. Orphan living hoards. Orphan living hides. It shops for significance and pays in secrecy. It pays with anxiety, pays with isolation, pays with quarrels at the table. Sons and daughters do not spend to be seen. They steward to obey. They are positioned under a father's government. They do not audition for his attention. Identity ends many fees. I am not indicting you. I am showing you the invoice so you stop paying it. Order is not restrictive. It is protective. Peace is not a luxury. It is a governor. Say it under your breath now. I refuse the panic premium. I renounce the shame surcharge. I decline the comparison tax. Let the peace of God rule in my heart. Let the word set my pace. As peace returns, clarity returns. As clarity returns, money stops running and begins residing. And because cycles are broken by speech and structure, we will put the next finger on the real cashier of the heart, your confession. So faith stops opening the door while fear empties the house. Your mouth is not decoration. It is a steering wheel. It does not garnish your life. It governs it. Romans says, with the heart man believes, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Romans 10:10. Salvation is deliverance, preservation, wholeness. Confession applies the verdict of faith to the terrain of your living. E.W. Kenyon wrote, "Our confession is the expression of our faith." If that is so, and it is, then hear the core revelation. Provision is not only received by belief, it is retained by confession and governed by peace. Here is the contradiction that keeps many poor in spirit and thin in margin. They declare, God is my provider. And then, when the invoice arrives, they prophesy, we're going under. That is not harmless venting. That is jurisdictional speech. It trains the heart to obey panic. It tells the emotions, you are Lord. James called it double-mindedness. I call it double-mouthedness. Belief says one thing in worship. Confession says another at the kitchen table. And an unstable mouth creates unstable hands. Unstable hands make unstable decisions. Unstable decisions create unstable money. Do not hear me say God is unwilling. He is faithful. The shepherd has not changed. Hear me say, your speech is leaking your stability. Fear confessed becomes pace. Worry speaks like a lord, urgent, scolding, bossing your schedule and buying patterns. Faith speaks like a son, honoring, resting, receiving instruction. One begs, one rests. One grasps at outcomes. One yields to guidance. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Rule is government language. Peace is not a spa day. Peace is an umpire. Peace makes the call. When peace rules, expenditures quiet, timing sharpens, sight clears. When panic rules, everything rushes and everything costs more. Here is your test. What do you say first when the bill arrives? Complaint, panic, or covenant recognition? First words set jurisdiction. Try it God's way. Father, you are the owner, not me. You are the source, not me. I honor your lordship over this bill and over my heart. You teach me to profit and lead me in the way I should go. Isaiah 48:17. Then let peace rule the next step. Not denial, direction. Perhaps the instruction is to call, to negotiate, to wait, to sow, to sell. But you cannot hear timing while shouting fear. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Life does not come by chatter. It comes by covenant speech. Speak life to your margins, not fantasies to your anxieties. Say, "The Lord is my shepherd. I do not lack." Psalm 23:1. Say, "My God supplies all my need according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:19. Say, "I refuse the panic premium. I choose the government of peace." Then watch what happens. Anxiety loosens. Options appear. Counsel sounds wise again. You stop buying to numb and start stewarding to obey. Money stops sprinting and starts settling, because the shepherded heart does not whip the hand. Train your mouth, and it will train your heart. Train your heart, and it will steady your hand. Steady your hand, and provision will stop leaking. This is not performance. This is partnership. God is saying, "Let my word be final in your finances. Let peace make the call." And the believer answers, "I align my mouth with your government." Do this consistently, especially in the first words under pressure, and you will feel the shift. Faith will not merely receive provision, it will hold it, because confession will no longer resign your authority to fear. Peace will govern, order will protect, and your money will find a home under the quiet strength of His Lordship. Most believers think lordship is a mood you feel on a good worship day. Satan hopes you keep it there. Lordship is not a mood. It is a jurisdiction. It is government. It is whose court your decisions report to. Money always answers to a government. Every purchase is a vote. Every delay is a vote. Every budget line is a vote. Either you are casting ballots for self-rule, for fear rule, for pride rule, or you are voting kingdom. Not feeling-led, but word-governed. Not anxiety management, but trust alignment. Not self-reliance, but God-dependence. Ask the real question under your bills. Under which government do my finances operate? Panic, pride, or peace? Panic spends to silence a threat. Pride spends to perform an image. Peace spends to obey instruction. Panic says, "Hurry or you'll lose." Pride says, "Prove or you'll look small." Peace says, "Honor and you'll have sight." That is jurisdictional language. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Rule. Umpire. Make the call. When peace is seated as government, emotions lose their badge. They may testify, but they no longer issue warrants. Here is your identity anchor. You are not an orphan negotiating survival. You are a son. You are a daughter. You stand in covenant with a faithful father. Orphans clutch, rush, and hide because they doubt the table will hold. Sons and daughters honor, listen, and act because they know the table is set. Genesis 14 says, "And he gave him tithes of all." Verse 20. Abraham was not tipping a priest. He was acknowledging jurisdiction. He was saying with his substance, "You are the source, not me. You are the owner, not me. You are the provider, not me." That is lordship made practical. That is government installed over money. Malachi does not merely speak of cash flow, it speaks of courts. "Bring all the tithe, and prove me now. I will open the windows of heaven, and I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes." Malachi 3:10-11. The tithe is a statement of jurisdiction. It places your finances under divine order so the devourer loses standing. The devourer is attracted to disorder. Order is not restrictive, it is protective. When the king's government is recognized, the king's protection is invoked. That is not a feeling. You are the owner, not me. You are the provider, not me. I bring my money, my plans, my timing under your government. Say it when you allocate. Say it when you are tempted to rush. Say it when you are tempted to prove. First words set jurisdiction. Repeated words establish it. When God's lordship governs your money, your emotions stop being your master. The thermostat shifts. Pace slows to wisdom. Timing answers to counsel. The devourer loses appetite because there are fences now. Peace at the gate, honor on the porch, confession in the hall. And under that government, provision stops skittering. It settles. Because money follows government, and the heart that has chosen his jurisdiction has already chosen its stability. Most believers read, "I will open the windows of heaven," and imagine cash falling from the sky. Satan hopes you keep it there. Windows are not about money, they are about sight. Windows let light in. Windows expand horizon. Windows elevate perspective so choices are made in day, not in dusk. Malachi speaks of courts, not clouds, jurisdiction that grants you vision. When heaven's windows open, you see what you could not see before. You see where the leak is. You see where the path is. You see the difference between bait and blessing. In the dark, even furniture becomes a threat. In the light, you navigate with ease. Clarity is a form of provision. It saves what increase alone cannot save. Emotional fog is expensive. It magnifies threats, minimizes options, and calls haste wisdom. Fog takes a single bill and turns it into a prophecy of ruin. Fog stares at a countdown clock and canonizes fear as urgency. Fog trades peripheral vision for tunnel vision, so you only see crisis and not counsel, only pressure and not pathway. Under fog, panic becomes a prophet, and your wallet becomes a worshiper. The devourer loves fog. He stalks in confusion. He does not need to steal if he can stampede you into paying premiums to fear. Feelings make the room loud. The room loud makes God sound far. But he is not far. Peace is just off the throne. Hear the chain and set it in your heart. When alignment returns, peace rises. When peace rises, you can hear. When you can hear, strategy comes. When strategy comes, decisions steady. When decisions steady, provision stops running and begins residing. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Rule. Make the call. I am the Lord your God who teaches you to profit, who leads you by the way you should go. Isaiah 48:17. Teaching is light. Leading is sight. This is what the windows grant. Discernment that trims waste. Timing that multiplies effect. Priorities that preserve strength. Under open windows, you stop paying the panic premium because you are no longer shopping in the dark. Bring it down to your table. What to cut, what to keep, what to delay, what to sow. These are sight decisions. Wisdom is provision. One anointed no can equal a raise. One spirit-timed wait can redeem months of hurry tax. One sow here can open a field, while 10 scattered gifts only soothe the mood. God does not only increase supply, He increases precision. Fewer swipes, truer targets, clean negotiations, right partners, clear exits. Windows open and you see the leak under the lifestyle, the pride under the purchase, the fear under the freeze. Windows open and you see the door you kept missing because you were facing the storm, not the shepherd. Practice the posture that keeps sight clear. First words set jurisdiction. Father, you are the source, not me. You are the owner, not me. You are the provider, not me. I refuse haste. I choose your pace. Let peace rule my purchases. Teach me to profit. Lead me in the way I should go. Say it before numbers, not after panic. Sons and daughters don't shop for significance. They steward by sight. Under that confession, the heart quiets. Counsel gets loud. Options appear. Bids are weighed, not worshipped. Discounts stop dictating. Opportunities stop bullying. You move from reacting to ruling because light has returned. Understand this. Sight is warfare. The devourer is attracted to disorder, but he is also disarmed by discernment. Open windows make you a watchman over your own gates. Under alignment, you do not just have more, you waste less. You do not only collect supply, you deploy it with accuracy. And as vision steadies, peace fortifies, and provision finds fences, because what heaven opens in sight, heaven will protect in order. Order is not restrictive, it is protective. The fence does not rob the field, it preserves the harvest. When Scripture says, I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, Malachi 3:11, do not picture only a roaring thief in the night. See the slow eater of margins. See erosion. See waste, breakdowns that cluster, constant emergencies that multiply, relational drains that demand payouts of time and peace, sabotage cycles that make you rebuild the same wall twice. The devourer is happy to be boring if he can be consistent. He eats by disorder. Hear the law in plain speech. The devourer is attracted to disorder. Where gates are unguarded, leaks grow. Where the calendar is chaos, fees accrue. Where numbers are hidden, strife collects interest. Emotions unmanaged create disorder in spending, planning, and communication. Panic spends to quiet a feeling. Pride spends to perform a role. Shame hides receipts and silences conversations. Silence breeds suspicion, and suspicion births strife, and strife invites loss. Disorder is not neutral. It is a welcome mat. Emotional disorder says, "I can't think." Divine order answers, "I have the mind of Christ. I will act in wisdom." 1 Corinthians 2:16. One throws up its hands, the other lifts its head. I am not asking you to deny feelings. I am asking you to dethrone them. Let peace umpire again. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Rule. Make the call. Under peace, thinking returns. And with thinking, strategy. And with strategy, protection. God says, "I am the Lord your God, who teaches you to profit, and leads you by the way you should go." Isaiah 48:17. Teaching is order. Leading is order. Order breaks the appetite of the devourer, because there are now boundaries that feelings cannot edit. What does protective order look like at your table? It looks like a written plan, numbers in the light where shame cannot lie. It looks like honest math, no pretending, no rounding hope upward, no hiding receipts in a drawer. It looks like delayed gratification, the 24-hour rule on unplanned purchases, so peace, not pressure, makes the decision. It looks like counsel before commitment, 2 witnesses on major moves, so you do not marry a contract in a mood. It looks like accountability, shared visibility with a spouse or trusted partner, so secrecy loses oxygen. It looks like consistent giving, the first tenth as jurisdiction, the offerings as worship, because honor installs government. It looks like scheduled reviews, weekly 15 minutes with the truth, so late fees and surprise renewals cannot ambush you. It looks like clear communication, agreements about spending limits, about timing, about what urgent means, so emotion cannot rename everything now. Do you feel the tone changing? This is not bondage. This is freedom with a fence. Under order, emergencies become events, not identities. Under order, breakdowns are addressed, not chained into cascades. Under order, relationships stop bleeding from money quarrels because light has entered the conversation. And over all of this stands a greater authority. Protection follows government. The tithe is jurisdiction. Confession is jurisdiction. Peace is jurisdiction. When you honor the king's order, you invoke the king's rebuke. I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes. God deals with what you cannot see, while you steward what you can. Build the fence. Keep the gate. Let peace make the call, and you will watch the eater starve where disorder once fed him. Dominion is not gripping tighter with worry. It is opening wider under peace. It is not control through pressure. It is stewardship through rest. Dominion is the life ruled by God's rule, the heart seated, the pace governed, the decisions made from a throne, not a tremor. Let the peace of God rule is not a suggestion for quiet afternoons. It is the constitution of a kingdom life. Peace is the government that trains your hands. Under that government, reactions retire and rhythms begin. Reaction is fitful. Rhythm is faithful. Reaction waits for a mood. Rhythm answers to a mandate. Reaction buys relief. Rhythm builds inheritance. Dominion is the fruit of rhythm. When obedience becomes consistent, emotions lose authority. Hear it like a drum. First honor, then allocate, then save, then sow as led, then spend within wise boundaries. Repeat. Repeat on lean days. Repeat on full days. Consistency builds maturity. Maturity builds capacity. Capacity carries provision without spillage. This is the inward shift. You do not wait to feel secure to obey. Obedience produces security because it produces alignment. Feelings follow formation. Not, when I have more, I'll be faithful, but because I am faithful, I will be entrusted with more. Not, when I'm out of debt, I'll tithe, but I tithe because I refuse debt to be my Lord. Not, when the bonus comes, I'll save, but I save because wisdom is honor in practice. Your rhythm announces your ruler. Rhythm says, peace makes the call here. Install the cadence at your table. First fruits. Honor the Lord with the first tenth. That is jurisdiction. That is windows opening. That is the devourer losing standing. Planned generosity. Set aside offerings on purpose, not on impulse, because love plans and honor aims. Savings. Pay your future as an act of stewardship, not fear. Margin is mercy for tomorrow's you. Boundaries. Spending limits. Waiting periods. Counsel checkpoints. Not to punish desire, but to train it. Reviews. Weekly light on numbers so darkness cannot speak for you. This is not bondage. This is the liturgy of freedom. Rhythm installs order where reaction installed chaos. Listen to your confession inside the rhythm. God says, "Come under my pace." And the believer answers, "Father, you are the source, not me. You are the owner, not me. You are the provider, not me. I yield my spending, my saving, my sowing to your government. Let peace make the call." Say it while you allocate. Say it when desire surges. Say it when scarcity snarls. First words set jurisdiction. Repeated words establish culture. As rhythm roots, the battleground changes. Your finances stop being a field of skirmishes and become a channel of partnership. Heaven's government takes shape in earth's choices. Money goes where mission points. Bills become assignments, not anxieties. Opportunities are weighed by peace, not bullied by pressure. You are no longer jerked by sales cycles. You are guided by seasons. Dominion is not louder. It is steadier. And steadiness is power over time. This is the promise of alignment in motion. Emotions will still knock, but they will not run the house. Peace will answer the door. Order will set the table. Provision will sit and stay. Keep the rhythm, and the rhythm will keep you. Feelings will speak. Bills will talk. Pressure will preach. Do not be surprised when voices rise. Be ready with an answer. Confession is spiritual alignment in real time. It is not theatrics, it is jurisdiction. It is the believer saying to circumstances, "You do not announce my government. My covenant does." A steady confession under pressure is how faith holds money in a shaking world. Here is the pattern: call and response. Feeling says, "You're late, hurry or you'll lose." I answer, "Father, you are the source, not me. You are the owner, not me. You are the provider, not me. I refuse haste. I choose your pace." Feeling says, "You must buy this or you are behind." I answer, "I am a son, not an orphan. I steward by sight, not by show. The Lord is my shepherd. I do not lack." Feeling says, "It's all on you." I answer, "It is written, you teach me to profit and lead me in the way I should go. I follow instruction, not intimidation." Speak these slowly. Speak them until peace takes the chair again. God as source. Father, you are the source, not me. You are the owner, not me. You are the provider, not me. I honor you first. I trust you most. Wisdom for decisions. You teach me to profit. You lead me in the way I should go. I have the mind of Christ. I hear clearly. I choose precisely. Peace as guard. Let the peace of God rule in my heart. Peace is my umpire. Peace makes the call. Panic does not. Discipline as grace. Discipline is not punishment. It is grace training me. I am strengthened to say wait, to say no, to say not now, without fear. Generosity as identity. I am generous because my Father is generous. I give on purpose, not on impulse. Honor governs my increase. Love plans my giving. Timing matters. Before the scroll, before you open the app, the email, the statement, set jurisdiction with first words. First words set the court you will sit in. At the moment of temptation, when the flash sale flashes, when the image whispers, "Prove yourself," answer aloud. Silence is consent in the court of feelings. After a mistake, when you bought in a mood or hid a receipt, do not crown shame. Repent and replace. Father, I was wrong. I return to your government. I receive forgiveness. I choose light. Teach me to profit now, even from this lesson. Failure is not your identity. Repentance restores alignment. Shame is a thief pretending to be a teacher. It steals energy. It muddies sight. It calls you names God does not. Conviction points the way home. Follow it quickly. Practice this rhythm until it becomes reflex. The mouth trains the heart. The heart steadies the hand. The hand preserves the margin. Do not wait for calm to confess. Confess until calm returns. Do not wait for surplus to honor. Honor opens sight that preserves what comes. Your mouth is the rudder. Keep it under lordship, and your life stays on course. As you hold this confession, peace will rule, order will protect, and provision will stop running. Stay with me into the commissioning. because money follows government, and government follows your alignment. Beloved, hear the summoning in the Spirit. You have walked through the rooms. We exposed the invisible leak, feelings spending what faith built. We set 2 compasses on the table, sense knowledge that panics and revelation knowledge that steadies. We read the hidden ledger, emotional living charging interest, first in peace, then in clarity, then in money. We saw why faith could not hold what fear kept announcing. We installed government, lordship as jurisdiction, not mood. We stood beneath the windows, sight as provision, not clouds as cash. We built the fence, order as protection, not prison. We traded reaction for rhythm. We put a new confession in your mouth. This is the outcome. When alignment governs your life, provision becomes steadier because peace becomes stronger. Do not mistake the tone of heaven. God is not trying to take from you. He is trying to establish you. He is not draining your joy. He is defending it. Peace is your inheritance. Wisdom is your portion. Let the peace of God rule, Colossians 3:15, is not a suggestion. It is the mantle placed upon your shoulders. I teach you to profit and lead you in the way you should go. Isaiah 48:17 is not a tease. It is a covenant promise. You are not being punished into order. You are being fathered into stability. The shepherd is not cutting your path to make it narrow. He is cutting your path to make it safe. Yes, it is warfare. The enemy wants you scattered. Scattered in thought, scattered in speech, scattered in spending, because scattered seed seldom roots. But alignment gathers you. Alignment gathers your thoughts under truth, your words under confession, your money under honor. Alignment stabilizes your gates and strengthens your hands. I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes. Malachi 3:11 is God's voice over an aligned life. The devourer is attracted to disorder. He starves where order stands. Now hear his invitation as commission. Come into alignment with me. Let me govern what you cannot stabilize by feeling. Seat peace as your umpire. Install honor as your policy. Keep confession as your culture. Bring your first to me, and I will open sight. Walk in order, and I will keep the eater at bay. And the believer answers, Father, you are the source, not me. You are the owner, not me. You are the provider, not me. I receive your peace as my government. I choose your rhythm over my reactions. Teach me to profit. Lead me in the way I should go. Step from this moment into a practiced rest. First words before first numbers. First tenth before first spending. Weekly light on truth so darkness cannot bill you in silence. Counsel before commitment, so pressure cannot rename haste as wisdom. Let peace make the call. Keep saying what covenant says when bills talk and feelings shout. Your rhythm will preach louder than your moods. And as you keep order at your gate, watch provisions stop running and start residing. We are not finished. We have installed government. Now we will exercise it. Stay with me as we open the next revelation. Kingdom economics that do not wobble with markets. Stewardship as authority that expands territory. And how giving, aimed by honor, opens both sight and strategy. The King's government is at hand. Walk out of this room commissioned into rest. Money will follow government, and government will follow your alignment. Peace to your house, order to your gates, sight to your steps, and the quiet strength of His Lordship upon all you carry.